What if qualification for the World Cup was decided by who could have the most babies? In today's FM18 World Cup experiment, we're going to take a look at a World Cup consisting of the 32 most populated nations in the world. So, just like my most recent World Cup experiments, I've put together a little Excel spreadsheet where we're going to do a World Cup draw to decide the 8 groups for the 2018 World Cup using the 32 most populated nations, as you can see on the left hand side there. I used Wikipedia to work out these populations, by the way. Just looked up the most populated nations in the world, and it is FIFA nations because, for example, it would be the United Kingdom in here and they would be a bit higher up the list, but because all of the United Kingdom nations are split out when it comes to FIFA, England are on there, down with 55 million people, as you can see there. And I've seeded them by population, which I know if it was real life, you'd have Germany and Brazil and England all the way at the top there, and Spain and Argentina, etc. However, this is just a little bit of fun. I've decided basically the seeding is done by population. So the top 8 nations in the world are the biggest populated nations in the world. So we've got China, India, USA, Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, Nigeria and Bangladesh are number 1 seed. So they're going to be coming out of the hat first of all. So as you can see, we've got the random letter generator on the right hand side, and the first nation out will be China, who have gone into Group A. Group D is India. Group C will have USA in there. By the way, the populations are done by 2017 estimates according to Wikipedia. Indonesia going into Group H. Group E will have Brazil. I imagine Brazil, Germany, Argentina, Spain will dominate this competition, but you know, it's fun to see the likes of India and China and Pakistan and Bangladesh in a World Cup. It's just a bit different, isn't it? So Group F's got Nigeria. As I've explained previously in other FM18 World Cup experiments with this random letter generator, I do have to sometimes press that button a few times to get a fresh letter that we haven't seen before. So we're on to the second seeds now, and Russia have gone into Group A, and Group H will have Mexico. Group A we've already had, so I have to press it again. So Group E is going to have Japan. Group G will be Ethiopia. Group E we've already had. So Group C will be the Philippines. So it's just fascinating. We've got Vietnam, we've got Indonesia in there, we've got the Philippines in there. It's great stuff. Group F is going to have Egypt. We've got a few African nations in here. It's a good mix around the world, actually. Obviously, oceanic nations are far too small to feature. Vietnam are going into Group D, which means Germany, the last second seed, will go into Group B. So we're on to the third seeds. Group H is going to have the Democratic Republic of Congo. Group E is going to have Iran. Group C will have Turkey. And then Group A is going to have Thailand. In Group B, we've got France. Some of the big European nations coming out. Now we've got Italy coming up next, which will go into Group F eventually. And then Group G, we've got Tanzania going in there, another African nation. And lastly, into Group D from the third seeds will go South Africa. So we're on to the fourth seeds. Now England's going to be first up. They're going into Group B. Wow, what a group. Group of death. Germany, France and England in the same group. I've decided to ignore all the rules of having no more than 2 European nations in the same group. We're just going with it because this is a fun World Cup, and I'm looking forward to seeing Group B, who will get out of that group. I'm going to simulate the World Cup 3 times, just like my previous FM18 experiments. But yeah, Bangladesh, I think they're going to get murdered, I'm afraid, in that group. We might see a few shocks in some of the groups if there's a weaker group. Group H at the moment, there's a possibility with who's going in? Spain. I think Spain and Mexico. I think that's actually Group G looks interesting. We're going to have a lesser known nation getting out of Group G because Pakistan, Ethiopia and Tanzania. We've got Ukraine going in there, who probably should dominate that group. But then one of Pakistan, Ethiopia and Tanzania can go through. So using the FM18 editor, I've created those 8 groups. Like I said, I'm going to simulate the World Cup 3 times now, and we're going to see who manages to win them. So Spain have managed to beat France in the first simulation in the final on penalties. 2 predictable finalists. We're not going to see the likes of China or India going all the way, but we might see the likes of Mexico or USA pulling up a few surprises. We'll see. It looks like a very good final, and it obviously went down to the penalties. Lots of goals in that first half, as you can see. But let's have a look at the group stages then, because this is the most interesting thing, really, to see if there's been any shocks. We saw Russia and South Korea get through from Group A, the two favourites going through there. China finishing bottom of the group. It'd be nice to see China do quite well. Thailand did beat China 2-0, good win for them. France and Germany finished ahead of England. France won every single game comfortably as well. 3-0 win, a 4-0 win against Bangladesh, 3-1 win against Germany, 1-0 win against England. Germany and England both lost their games against France, which meant they ended up with 4 points after a draw against each other. England knocked out on goal difference. Bangladesh, they did score. They scored against England. Of course they scored against England. That's amazing. I just want to have a look at this actually. So this chap, he scored against England. That is just brilliant. And yeah, they were thrashed by Germany and France, as you would expect. Turkey topped Group C ahead of USA, who did lose their match against Turkey. Kenya did get a win against the Philippines, but obviously weren't good enough to defeat USA or Turkey. In Group D, predictably, Argentina finished top of the group, but they did actually draw against Iran, who finished bottom of the group. Argentina did get through from Group D with 7 points. They actually drew against South Africa, though, who also finished on 7 points, but finished second on goal difference. India defeated Vietnam 2-0. Vietnam, they did get a goal against Argentina, which is amazing, but they did concede 6 goals, so it was a bit of a thrashing. In Group E, Brazil topped the group ahead of Colombia. They did draw against Iran, bottom place Iran. This is a really hard group, actually. In Colombia and Japan, drawn in the same group, just like real life. What a strange coincidence, eh? And Brazil, those are 4 real World Cup teams, so that's a tough old group. But Brazil and Colombia were too strong for the other 2 nations. Italy topped Group F, just ahead of Egypt. Italy scored 18 goals. They beat Myanmar 11-0. Poor old Myanmar, minus 20 goal difference. They did manage to score against Egypt, but yeah, it wasn't great. Nigeria, I mean, that's a tough group as well to call. Italy, Egypt and Nigeria. There's generally 3 pretty good teams in each of the groups, apart from Group G, which is the most fascinating one. Ukraine managed to win 3-0 in all 3 games to comfortably go through, but Tanzania getting wins against Pakistan 3-2 and Ethiopia 6-1 go through with 6 points. Ethiopia did beat Pakistan in the other game, but they were completely murdered by their African rivals. And lastly, Democratic Republic of Congo topped the group ahead of eventual winners Spain. That is an incredible achievement. They actually beat Spain 2-1. They drew against Mexico 2-2, but Spain, fortunately for them, just about beat Mexico 4-3 in an absolute classic, with Mexico going out on 4 points and Indonesia bottom of the group as expected. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. They only conceded 1 goal against Spain. 1-0 win for Spain against Indonesia. That is pretty poor from Spain's point of view, but excellent stuff from Indonesia. The second round saw Germany beat Russia 2-0, France beat South Korea 3-0, South Africa beat Turkey 2-1, good win for South Africa. This is a game and a half. USA 4, Argentina 4, Otamendi sent off late on, and USA win on penalty. Altidore actually missed an 87th minute penalty to end it in regulation time. In fact, that would have equalised. They relied on a Danny Williams 93rd minute equaliser to get it to extra. What a comeback this is, by the way. They were losing like 3-0, then 3-1, 4-1. They were losing 4-1 with 18 minutes to go. Otamendi sending off got them back into it, basically. And in the end, we saw USA win on penalties. What a game. Brazil, this is a great game as well. Brazil 4, Egypt 2. These are the sort of games we want to see at the World Cup. Colombia beat Italy 2-1. Spain thrashed Ukraine 3-0. And Congo beat Tanzania in an all-African fight. 113th minute winner to send Congo through to the quarterfinal. We're going to see, possibly Congo, Tanzania, these sorts of teams getting through to the quarterfinal because of the way we've had the groups drawn. Germany beat USA 2-0 in the quarterfinals, with France winning on penalties against South Africa. South Africa done really, really well to get through to the quarterfinals, considering their world rankings quite low these days. Brazil completely destroyed Congo, but Congo did get a nice consolation goal. Firmino with 4 goals in that game. And lastly, Spain beat Colombia 2-1 after extra time. For the semi-finals, pretty boring stuff. Spain won on penalties against Germany, and France beat Brazil 1-0. So the four semi-finalists that I was expecting, I think they're the 4 favourites from this. Third place, Brazil beat Germany 3-2 after extra time. And of course, we know the final already. Dembele actually won the Best Player of the Tournament award with Javier, with Chicharito picking up the golden boot for Mexico. Lloris, goalkeeper of the tournament. Best young player went to Ousmane Dembele as well. That's the dream team for you, those of you interested. And the best goal of the tournament scored by a Mexican player against Indonesia. It'd be great to see, a really unusual player for a lesser-known nation scoring goal of the tournament. But it was a Mexican that managed to win this award. Let's have a look at it then. Hector Herrera involved. Lozano, the Mexican wizard, involved. And this is Pizarro. Great strike into the top right-hand corner. So then, let's have a look at the second simulation. So Brazil managed to win the second simulation, once again to predictable finalists. Comfortable win for Brazil against France in the final. Harry Kane top goal scorer, as you can see there. Jesus, Marcelo and Douglas Costa with the winning goals. But let's have a look to see if there were any shocks at this World Cup. Russia and South Korea going through once again, as you would expect. Unfortunately, no shocks in that. Thailand drew 0-0 against China in the other game. England topped the group this time. Germany knocked out. England managed to score 7 against Bangladesh this time around. Bangladesh failed to score, I'm afraid, and they got a minus 23 goal difference. They lost 11-0 against Germany, but it wasn't good enough for them to get out the group because they drew against France 2-2 and lost against England 5-1 as well. A repeat of 2001. Wow, that's a big scoreline for England, but still impressive that Germany scored 11. But it's not impressive to score 11 past Bangladesh. What am I saying? That's what you would expect. Turkey and USA went through from Group C once again. Kenya actually got a draw, though, against USA and a 0-0 draw against Philippines to end up with 2 points. Argentina and South Africa once again through from Group D. I mean, I don't know how many times I'd have to simulate this to actually see a proper shock. Like, how long would it take for Bangladesh to get a draw or a win? I think we could be here a long time. I mean, the quality of their players is obviously not as good. Let's just have a look at this view. So you can see the current ability. The highest current ability Bangladesh plays, 59 current ability. This is the best Bangladeshi player. It just shows the difference in quality. It's huge. It really is. Anyway, where was I? Argentina and South Korea went through. Vietnam defeated India 3-2 in a great game. Brazil and Colombia once again through from Group E. With Japan winning against Iran and drawing against Brazil, but it wasn't enough to go through. Italy topped Group F with 3 wins. 5-0 against Myanmar. Myanmar once again collapsing, losing 8-0 against Nigeria. The biggest win once again to the third place team, but failed to get out because Egypt beat Nigeria 3-0. Group G was won by Ukraine, once again as expected. The biggest team, the best team going through from that one. But Ethiopia finished ahead of Tanzania this time. They beat Tanzania 1-0 and they got an incredible 1-1 draw against Ukraine. Excellent stuff from them. And a 0-0 draw against Pakistan. So Pakistan did quite well to get a draw in that, to be fair. And then Spain and Congo once again through from Group H, but Spain topped the group. Mexico letting us down here. Congo did really well last time to get through. Top of the group, remember. Mexico have failed in 2 World Cups now, and Indonesia, of course, were bottom of the group, but they did actually score 2 goals against Congo. Is that right? Yeah, they did. Oh no, that's wrong. What is going on here? It says they scored 2 against Congo, but here it shows... I'm looking at the wrong one. Yes, Congo beat Indonesia 4-2. Second round then. France beat Russia 2-1. England beat South Korea 2-0. Turkey beat South Africa 1-0. Argentina won against USA. Great game once again between those two. 4-2 win this time around. Brazil defeated Egypt 2-1. Italy won on penalties against Colombia. Ukraine beat Congo 2-1. And lastly, Spain smashed Ethiopia 3-0. Surprised it wasn't bigger than that, really. And then the quarterfinals. So the biggest shock in this is Turkey and Ukraine getting through. Ukraine have an easy draw, though, so they're likely to get through to the quarterfinal stage. Turkey were defeated quite easily by England. Brazil, Spain, that is a great game. Before the semi-finals, France beat Italy 2-0 and Brazil defeated England 1-0. Third place went to Italy. They beat England 2-0 in the third place playoff. Insigne with the opportunity to get a hat-trick, but he missed a penalty. And the final, of course, was won by Brazil easily. Dembele, best player of the tournament once again. This time Harry Kane, of course, picked up the golden boot. Edison for Brazil was goalkeeper of the tournament, so obviously they played him instead of Alisson. Best young player went to Dembele again. That's the dream team. A few Italians and French players. basically the semi-finals of that, and Neymar picked up goal of the tournament. It would be nice to see one of these lesser known players getting the Golden Boot award. This is quite a predictable experiment, isn't it? But a few people wanted this, so I've delivered it for you. Look at that. Neymar just ran all the way. No one was tackling him, though. What were the Spanish players doing? I have no idea. I'm also going to do the lowest population World Cup. I think that's got potential to be a bit more interesting, actually, because there's not going to be a really powerful footballing nation in there. So yeah, I'm going to do that shortly. There's lots of other ideas from you guys that have been in the comment sections as well of my recent experiments. So if you do have any ideas involving the World Cup, then stick them in the comment section below. But this is the last simulation I'm going to do today. Germany 2, France 1 in the final. So we've seen 3 different winners. France have lost a couple finals. In fact, have France lost every single final? I think France have lost every final, which is really unfortunate for them. But there we go. That's the way it goes. Germany 2, France 1, thanks to goals from Royce and Müller. Griezmann did open the scoring, but it wasn't enough. But have there been any shocks this time? I really hope so. I want to see some shocks. It's been a little bit predictable. We've seen Tanzania go through. But once again, Russia and South Korea go through from Group A. China did get a draw against Russia, though. And Thailand drew against South Korea 3-3. But it wasn't enough in the end. France and Germany finish ahead of England this time around. We saw a -27 in a recent World Cup experiment of mine. But yeah, we've managed to equal that record with Bangladesh losing 9-0 against Germany, England and France, which is just incredible. USA and Turkey through from Group C once again. Sorry, this is predictable, I know. Oh, India managed to beat Vietnam this time, 3-2. Argentina topped the group, scoring 7 past Vietnam. Brazil and Colombia once again through from Group E. Iran did beat Japan in the other game though. Italy and Egypt through from Group F again. Nigeria have failed. I thought they might be able to nick a win here. Well, managed to get through one of these times, but they haven't. Myanmar, a little bit better from them this time. They didn't completely collapse and lose. Well, what did they lose by? 10-0 or something. Ukraine topped Group G, but they did draw once again against Tanzania, who went through this time just ahead of Ethiopia. Pakistan lost every game, lost 6-0 against Ukraine, and Congo top Group H once again. Mexico, how have Mexico done this? Why have they've not been good enough? But they're a bit unlucky this time around because 3 teams got 6 points, but Congo went through top on goal difference after managing to score 5 goals against Indonesia, and they also beat Mexico 5-2. That's what did it for them. Indonesia seemed to do quite well against Spain. I suppose they just defend really deeply and Spain just can't pass their way through. That might be why. Second round then, Germany beat Russia 1-0. France beat South Korea 1-0. USA beat South Africa 3-1 to get through. 3 goals in extra time. 2 goals in extra time, from Altidore to go through. Brazil beat Egypt 2-1. And Italy beat Colombia 2-0. Spain scraped past Ukraine on penalties. And Congo defeated Tanzania 4-1. In that one, so they go through to the quarterfinals once again, but unfortunately they succumbed to Brazil in a classic. But this is also a classic. Germany 5, Argentina 2, France beat USA 1-0, Brazil 5, Congo 3. What a game. They love to attack. I applaud Congo for their effort. They've been a breath of fresh air to this particular experiment. And Italy beat Spain 2-1 to get through to the semi-finals, where Germany thrashed them 4-0. Royce with 2, Draxler and Ozil with the goals. Germany have scored loads of goals in this tournament. And this is an amazing game. France 4, Brazil 3. We had 2 own goals. And in the end, Dembele with a 71st minute winner. They actually turned it around as well after being 3-2 down. In the third place playoff, Italy beat Brazil 1-0. And then, of course, the final, Germany beat France. And we saw Firmino win the Best Player of the Tournament award this time around. Golden Boot was won by Marco Reus with 10 goals and 4 assists. Best Goalkeeper, Neuer. Best Young Player, Pulisic of USA. Dream Team. We haven't seen any surprises getting into the Dream Team. And Goal of the Tournament, scored by Griezmann. We haven't had an unusual winner. I wanted someone from another nation. But, yeah, I had my doubts about this experiment, if I'm honest. But people few of you wanted it, and it's just been a little bit predictable. I mean, I could have done one where we didn't have the big boys in there, but I wanted to have the 32 most populated nations. That's what people suggested, and that's what we've done. But we've ended up with Spain, Brazil, and Germany winning the World Cup. But I like the fact that we had some different nations in the World Cup. It's a shame we didn't see Bangladesh pull off a shock or China get a win. They did get a draw against Russia, but that's the best they managed. I mean, the best team out of the teams not expected to go far, I suppose, Congo. They finished above Mexico, which is impressive. And Tanzania did quite well, but, you know, it was between them and Ethiopia to get out that group anyway. But yeah, it's been different. It's been different. Thank you for watching today's experiment. The next experiment will be the lowest populated nations, and I think that's going to be a bit more fascinating. But until next time, enjoy FM18. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you very soon.